Welcome to Real Talk with Angry Soccer Mom and Anna. Today we have two special guests. We have Miss Willow. Hi, Miss Willow. And we have Timothy. Welcome,
Hey,
Timothy. And and of course, the lovely Anastasia,
and
as always. And
mm,
we have a lot to talk about in a short amount of time. Let me just check my vital signs here. What do we got going? And I will make sure we're being heard. If you are watching, please say hello. This is a participation show, and we have some tough things to talk about. And it's not called real talk for nothing. So we're going to be pretty real. If you're new to this subject matter, don't get scared away. Listen and join in because we want to know what you think, and we're all here to learn and to educate. So I want to say, Tim, I'll let you introduce yourself because you are wonderful. He's my very close friend.
absolutely. Thank you. And listen,
Tim, how are you?
yes, 1 minute. Thank you for inviting me, Angry Soccer Mom. Really appreciate it. We go kind of way back. I want to say almost so 2016, 2017. And then eventually, we started doing some work together. My name used to be Coach years ago, and we was working some shows together until we were not working any shows together. I do some community activism. I do voters registration for men and women coming out of incarceration. I've been doing that now for about almost 20 years. They passed a bill in Washington State in 2010 so that as soon as you left incarceration, you were then now a voter. So I would go to different community events, and I would make sure that everybody was registered, and I would actually take their registration and take it directly to the registrar. I also do OSHA EPA compliance. So we got a couple of grants from the jail system to train people who were coming out. So we would train them in construction work, basically hazardous material cleanup, asbestos, chemical and soil and things like that. But I stayed focused and working with the Black community because there is a Black community here in Washington State in the Seattle area, and we suffer from the same things everybody else suffers from in the nation, and that's discrimination. We're locked in the same system of discrimination that everybody else is locked into. And I met Kimberly, and she's been very instrumental in talking to white people. Because when I talk to white people, they tend to shut down. When she talks to white people, she gets a reaction. And sometimes it's good, and sometimes it gets pretty bad. Okay, to where they're threatening her life, they're threatening.
You're not scared of me. That's why.
And it gets crazy. But I thought that was very fascinating. And Anastasia, I've been watching you for a while, and you're amazing. And
watching me do what?
Watch you on the show.
I'm here.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I think I got my sexy grandpa.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
So for a while, and it'd be amazing. And, Black Lives Matter is a real solid group because they started here in Seattle. So they're very instrumental in making change. I mean, I think we have a lot more going for us, especially when it comes to poverty and diversity and equity. They have created that atmosphere here, but still we're having problems. So that's all I have. Thanks.
Thanks for introducing yourself. Anastasia, you want to say a few words about Miss Willow, unless Miss Willow wants to say
Miss Willow, she, like we talked before, Miss Willow is so amazing. And I love her because, my mom passed away. So I have affinity to older people. Like, I let them say what they want, do what they want, because you know what? They have earned it. Like, she is too old for this shit. Like, that was the first thing she said to me. She's like, Anna, I'm too old for this shit. I'm like, yeah, but you are. And I don't want to be 69, right, Miss Willow? I do not want to be 69 fighting for the same thing that I was fighting at 47.
Oh, shit.
Yep. That's one of the reasons I originally got the title Angry Soccer Mom.
That said it all, Anna.
Enrages me. Just enrages me. Welcome, Miss Willow, and of course, welcome, Anna. And let's get started. We have a big topic, a very, very scary, serious topic tonight. So we hope that people who are watching will not be shy to say hello and jump in. The call number I put up at the top on the screen, on the comments. Dwayne, yay! Thanks for being here. And this is if you happen to want to send me breaking news, because I can't keep up with this insanity, there's a place to send it, or just to say hi. And let's get started. Tonight, we're going to be talking about mass shootings, murdering people in cold blood. Basically, it's a very serious topic. I can think of a few topics that are more serious. We're talking about white supremacists, terrorists, and how to stop it from happening in the U.S., because we have ways to stop it. And when I say we, I mean the people who are in charge, shall we say, and we're not doing it. And there's a way to do it, and we're not doing it, and it makes me sick. Since this is a highly emotional topic, I wanted to start tonight by doing a quick roundtable. We're going to do about a minute each, and Anna's going to be the meantime.
I'm the timekeeper, Tim and Miss Willow.
And me.
So when you get to your last 30 seconds, I'm going to do just like this. And then we're going to be like, next slide, please.
All right, you can
okay.
Wrap it up.
Wrap it up. Okay, thank you. And we have a set time that we're going to take comments. So if you are watching, don't be shy. You can't say anything wrong. We want you to participate. So let's get started. I wanted to start with a little bit of as Anna puts it, a little mental health check for each of you. This is a really serious topic. We all know what happened in Buffalo. I think I'm the only one in New York, but I'm 5 hours away. So it's not down the road. It's 5 hours away, but it's incredible. So I wanted, Tim, did you want to just say a word or a phrase or two about your initial reaction to this?
Well, my initial reaction was shock and sadness. Okay, I just could not imagine that somebody can wake up in the morning and decide that I'm just going to go kill me some Black people, you know. And this young man comes out and he literally guns down grandparents. He gunned down grandfathers, people who were retired. I mean, it was some cold-blooded murder. But the morbid part was he filmed it, and he filmed this thing. And when I went to work the next day, the two white men that I worked with said, "Oh man, somebody sent me that." I'm like, "How in the hell did you get that? You know, you got that immediately." I think that's absolutely bizarre. And they said, "Yeah." And they said, "Didn't you get it?" I said, "No. How can I get that?" I said, "These are the things that I don't, aspire to." So that's what. Those are the feelings that were involved. Thank you.
Miss Willow, did you want to say something about how you felt when you heard this?
I saw just a bleep, a headline, shooting in Buffalo, New York at grocery store, shooter captured. And I turned to my companion at the time and I said, well, it was a white shooter then. If they caught him and he was alive, he was white. And then I proceeded to tell my companion how they treated Dylan Roof after shooting the prayer group in South Carolina, how they took him to Burger King. Because I'm still so outraged about how they treat the difference in the shooters. The second thing is that we know we can identify 4 common traits among shooters. We need to be looking out and be proactive in this and stopping it. It's incumbent upon the white population to stop it because it's the white people that are doing it. This has nothing to do with the Black population other than being victims of it all the time. This is a white problem.
Yep. We have a white problem in America. And Anastasia, thank you, Miss Willow. Anastasia, do you want to talk about it? Or
I'm not surprised. I mean, the thing about it is that I am numb to these type of things because at the end of the day, everybody pretends that this is a new thing. Killing Black people in mass is nothing new. We had the Red Summer of 1919. We've had so many massacres. We had a massacre in 1985 in Philadelphia.
Oh yeah.
I was 10 years old. So,
You remember that?
yes, I remember that. I was 10. Literally, I was born in 1975. I
Yeah.
remember that.
Okay.
Like, I know people think that I mean, they may think I'm not as old as I am, but they
I
think
was
in an
forgetting.
abstract
Yep.
that
No, I hear
it's a long time ago. I was 10 years old when the Move On bombing happened.
And that's the move, and it's an acronym if for people who aren't familiar with that. And it's out of
Right.
Philly, and it was in our lifespan. Like, yeah,
And the thing about it, the government, the police did that.
government sponsored, 100%.
Yeah.
Yep, our government did it.
But that wasn't the only thing that happened in the MOVE thing. They just released the bones of the children that they were using for some, I don't know, experimentation. I mean, how different can our bones be that you need to take it to a university for study? So,
Oh, you're talking about the bone that was taken, and then they had to give it back, and it was a big ordeal, big
yes,
ordeal. Yeah, that's
that's morbid.
a
You know,
university dared to have the skeletal remains of we'll say, yes, that was bad. That was just more racism. It's of a different, Anyway,
it
we will.
shows that Black people have no value. We're not valued in this country.
Yep.
And until that they value Black lives, but we're dealing with people who are dealing with some sort of psychosis, some sort of cognitive issue. There's a mental health thing going on with white folks. And I don't think they know, and if they do know, they call it privilege. I call it ignorance, but it's almost psychotic.
We are definitely going to get to that, Timothy. We are
right. We're gonna get to that, Tim.
We're going to get to that.
I don't agree with you at all. You know why I don't agree with you? Because I think it's just indoctrination. It's psychotic to us.
This is a group of people.
Right.
And they all suffering at the same time.
Right.
We'll get to it, guys. We'll get to it. No jumping the gun here. I got to keep law and order here. All right. But definitely that's in the agenda. All right. Tonight, I'm going to start by putting together, Anna and I are going to just quickly, boom, 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 run right through what we know so far. If you're in the audience, watching, our friends watching, or Timothy or Willow, you definitely jump in and add at the end. We just want to do a quick summary for people who haven't been focused on this and for new people who want to know. So we're going to go every other, let me see. We're just going to list some collective facts about this, what we know, and some of them you'll know, and some of them you might not. And I am blind, so I want to make it bigger. First of all, okay, forget that. I'll make it smaller. My type went away. The shooter was identified as Peyton. I guess his last name is pronounced Gendron. I don't know. Is 18 years old, white man. Anna?
Peyton Grindon is 18. He lived with his family in Cochran, which is a small town, 200 miles. Now, mind you, we said 200 miles away, southeast of Buffalo in the state. So he had time to think about what he was doing.
Yeah, this wasn't next door. This was hours away. It was chosen. And as you'll listen and hear, the massacre was racially motivated, and you'll hear more about that.
He murdered 10 people, while 3 victims suffered life-threatening injuries.
Yeah. And let me see. He had racial slurs and neo-Nazi type writing on his gun. I mean, this was like a very planned, set up thing.
During the massacre, he was wearing a tactical helmet and a plated armor, and was live streaming the shooting on Twitch. Now, this is what I would just pause a moment. Now, when you're on Twitch, just like Facebook, if you say certain things, they dead you. So the question is, how did he go through a mass murder and Twitch didn't stop him?
That's terrible. at one point during the video, it shows he aimed at a white person and basically who was hiding behind a counter, and then said, "Oh, sorry," and didn't shoot them because like he wasn't. I mean, it's just we'll talk about
So
all
since
this.
high school graduation, state police took him to a hospital for a psychiatric evaluation after he said he aspired to murder and or take his own life. How many black children would have got the same thing?
Yeah, and he told authorities it was a joke, and it wasn't according to his online writings and diary. It wasn't a joke at all, obviously. And oh, where was I? He had it planned out and completely detailed. Everything he was going to do.
This guy apparently made the diary public on a chat platform Discord 30 minutes before the shooting, though it's unclear how many people might have seen the material. Discord is a private invite-only service. Let's be honest with what we're talking about. If he was Muslim, he would have been a part of a Muslim terrorist group. Remember, we are black extreme, was it black extreme identity extremists or something like that? Black identity extremists for liking black people.
He'd be dead if he was Muslim or black. We all know it. It's
Right.
And I'm not
So
saying
those
he should be dead, but God, I mean.
But like you said, you know, if he was captured by the state patrol and was arrested and given that evaluation, he comes from an upper middle class community. They have more than enough money to give him psychological help or some sort of counseling. They have more than enough money to do that. He wasn't crazy. He knew exactly what he was doing.
Oh, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that.
Yeah.
There are 4 traits that are common to all mass killers. One of them is early childhood trauma or exposure to violence. This is something that can be seen and diagnosed in schools. They should be able to pick this out among the children. They know when things happen to the children in their classrooms. This is an early intervention that could be helped to stop something like this building up in through childhood in adulthood where they go off like this. There are
Miss
things
Willow.
that we know. There are things you can do something about it.
Miss Willow, I seen two of my friends gunned down in front of me in the ghetto. I seen 4 of my soldiers killed when I was in the army. How many mass shootings have I committed?
No, they're talking about.
But how many black children live? I'm just saying, how many black children live under that same or worse, and are not mass shooters? Let's be honest about what's going on.
And we're gonna. I didn't mean to cut you off. We're gonna talk about this very soon because it's one of our points that we're gonna make.
Expressed in the black community with gang-related violence, where kids that are exposed to early and abuse tend to go as the violence that way. But there's a whole white myth about the lone wolf killer. There's no such thing as a lone wolf. These people are known. Like Anna was saying earlier, everybody knew what this guy's up to. He made no bones about it. But yet they want to.
We're going to talk about this.
But white families tend to always have a facade. And then at 10, 20 years later into their lives, they write a book on how daddy molested them, how he beat my mother, and they were all alcoholics and drug users. And they always talk about it later on. They grow up with this level of abuse, but nobody ever knows about it. The teachers don't know about it because they're a family. They look on Facebook. They got this Facebook face, and all kind of shit is going on.
Well, let's get through the rest of this, and absolutely. I mean, you guys are making great.
That perfect nuclear
We're going to talk about social media. We'll talk about social media. We'll talk about all this stuff. just really quickly for people who don't know, he had a separate online. He authored a separate online attack, saying he was meant to terrorize non-whites, non-Christian people, and people who are fleeing to the U.S. He had an agenda.
The murderer's writings were full of white supremacy, anti-immigrant, and anti-Semitic replacement theory, whatever that is, about a plot to reduce white people's global influence, claiming an ethnic and cultural replacement of white. This has been coined by the conspiracy followers as the replacement theory.
And eventually the murderer shared more widely on the hate-filled 4chan, if you've seen that online, examples. He wrote that he visited the supermarket 3 times, mentioning that he went on March 8th to survey its layout.
He also wrote that he used Google's graph feature for locations, popular times to determine the busiest times at the store.
Among the Discord posts, which run from mid-November to May, this guy wrote that he chose the zip code in Buffalo because it was one of the greatest percentages of Black people that's relatively near his home in Conklin, New York. A couple more comments and we'll start.
Right, the domestic terrorist, because that's what we're going to call him. A domestic terrorist chose a grocery store as his crime scene over a church or an elementary school because the store would attract many people at its peak times, according to his Discord posts that were published. Now, one thing I will say, look at the age group of those people. Those people were soft targets.
Yes. Yes.
What do you mean? And Anastasia, can you quickly explain what you mean, and then we'll finish the comments and we'll
So when we're talking about soft targets, that means people that's not going to put up a resistance.
Right.
People that you know that are not going to have weapons. People that, you know, in the army, a soft target for us is that we can go in there and just take over. That's what that means. Whether it be, you know, so just intelligence wise or brute force.
Gotcha.
He knew, because if you look at the age group of those people were in their 50s, elderly people. He didn't go up into the hood with Pookie and Ray Ray. That probably was going to shoot back. And I hate using the stereotypical names, but everybody knows who I'm talking about. He didn't go with Pookie and Ray Ray. That would have probably beat his ass.
They went where family people were shopping for things.
Yes.
For groceries.
Exactly.
Absolutely. I gotcha. Officials are still examining his 180-page document that was written by this murderer, posted online shortly before the shooting. And in it, he confesses everything, basically. He calls himself a fascist, a white supremacist, and an anti-Semite. A couple more, and we're almost done. Anastasia?
So the police, race soldiers, because they're apparatus of capitalism and an apparatus of white supremacy, confronted him, wink, wink, and he exited the store, put his rifle to his neck. He then dropped the gun and surrendered. But how many seconds was Tamir Rice killed?
Yes.
How many seconds do you have to have a sandwich in your hand and be killed? You have a cell phone in your hand. Elijah McCain was choked out.
Yep. Police say that there was further violence planned by this guy.
Well, like you said, the police didn't kill him. But then the young woman who called the police department, the operator of the 911 hung the phone up on her. So, I mean, she, you know, it was like, we don't care, you know. And then when they did apprehend this man, I mean, the posture of the police was like, you know, they were holding him on his back. They looked like they were doctors, you know, just escorting somebody who just lost the baseball game.
The difference in treatment was absolute. I mean,
right. I mean,
so
okay. Give me
it. This isn't the first time they've treated a white shooter like he's just the kid off the block.
That's what they do.
So relatives of alleged Buffalo shooter Peyton Grindle, first of all, he's a freaking domestic terrorist, so I'm not going to use his name. Roll out a COVID defense or slaughter a white mother and a white daddy. Please pay attention to that, because if his parents were black, like me and Angry Soccer Mom talked about, when the little black child fell in with Harambe, the first thing they asked, "Where's his dad?" His dad is at work.
Yep.
When Trayvon Martin was killed, it was domestic violence. But let me digress. Saving, he first became radicalized during the early days of COVID. First of all, everybody had COVID. So why did you become a mass murderer? Bullshit. By scurrying extremist internet messaging boards, according to his twisted online dollar. I call bullshit, and I'll pass it on to Angry
I
Soccer
second
Mom.
that. I second that for you. So he's pleaded not guilty to the charge of first-degree murder. Next thing we're going to do as a group here, we're going to check out some viewers' comments, and then we are going to start our panel discussion. And my question to the panelists are: can you see the comments? Can everybody see the comments?
I can't.
Can't?
I can't.
No.
I've got them on the phone.
Okay, and Anna, can you see them? Let's switch back because I want to hear a couple. Let's just pick a couple each, Anna and I, and then you guys can talk about it, and then we will get our discussion started. Let's just look at them for a second. LaDonna says, seeds don't grow in sand. That soil was fertile at home. Let me just sneak over here. He's been in this hateful shit his whole life, and everything can be tracked due to the PA. So just wanted to, if anyone wants to say anything about that comment, I just picking out comments here and there because I want to let our viewers know that we appreciate them and we care what they have to say.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing about it is, like I said, I want black children, black males to be treated like grown-ass white men. Because this was a grown-ass white man. You understand what I'm saying? Tamir Rice, at 12 years old, was more grown than this 18-year-old dude that could drink. I'm sorry. Could join the army and vote, have a baby, do all these grown people shit. So I don't want to hear that, because they did that with Nicholas Cruz. He's a broken boy. They did it with Donald Trump. At 69 years old, he was talking about locker room talk. Dude, you never was in a locker room. You barely can read. What are we talking about?
Yep. Very good. Rebecca, absolutely soft targets, agreeing with what Anastasia was saying. At 68 years old, was trying to replace him. Give me a break. The people weren't trying to replace him. You're so right. He's a punk B-word and would never confront a young black man with a gun. Thanks, Rebecca. I'm so happy you're here. Anyone want to comment on 100%, just completely confirming what Anastasia is saying. This guy's a freaking wimp who, a bully, a wimp, and ugh. I don't even want where to go. Dwayne, let me see.
He might be a wimp, but in the white community, he might be a hero because he had the nerve to go down to a black community and kill black people. Now, we know they were soft targets, but the deal, what he did was he opening up the eyes of other terrorists.
Absolutely.
Letting them know, listen, I can do this, you can do this too, and we can win this war, and we can stop the war. And so we will not be replaced. So therefore he's going to go down there and kill people indiscriminately and show the world that these blacks will not replace us.
Yeah. And Dwayne says, you know they did different. They didn't take him to McDonald's. Oh, go ahead, Willow, Miss Willow.
Well, you were talking about how he was radicalized during COVID from going to these deep state channels. That's not how you get radicalized anymore. You can go to Fox News, watch Tucker Carlson and Laura Ingrams and have them preach on replacement theory every night of the week.
Yep, mainstream media. Yep, great point, Miss Willow.
In fact, some of the things that he quoted agenda were direct quotes from the two of them.
Absolutely.
Were lift off from their shows.
Yeah, and I'm going to ask you guys some questions about that later. Yeah. Go ahead.
When this kind of stuff is being preached on the 6 o'clock news and the 9 o'clock talk shows, it's going to stir people up. And not because they're sitting at home. It's because the economy is wrecked, capitalism is a failure, and everybody has their back to the wall, and they're being told 24/7 to blame somebody else for what's going on. This whole
Exactly.
divide and conquer, this is the direct result of 50 years of divide and conquer politics on behalf of the GOP and Democrats.
Can I say something? Mahako said something about that mental health bull crap.
That was the next one I was going to. Go ahead. Yeah.
No, okay.
No, you read it.
No, I'm just saying the fact of the matter is they never take in, like the DC sniper. They didn't take into consideration what was his mental capacity. Christopher Darden, did they take in consideration? And everybody that know, look up who Christopher Darden is. The one cop that killed himself because of racism.
Yep.
Nobody ever thinks that we have mental illness too. And the fact of the matter is that PTSD, walking down the street in a white neighborhood will give you PTSD. I'm being real with you.
Absolutely.
And so at the end of the day, it's one of those things where you're weak, but you're strong when we want you to be. And the fact of the matter, this is what I say to people. All those gangsters, Crips and Bloods and, six, whatever they want to call themselves. Why is it y'all not taking care of this stuff? Take care of this stuff. I'm not enforcing violence. What I'm saying is, where you at? Where you at? You got so much smoke for people that look like you. But when them people, I told you, 8x5, time 11 people come around, you mad humble.
Yeah. Let me jump in and I'm going to read 3 comments off the bat here. This is Coffee saying most mass shooters do not have diagnosis of mental health issues. LaDonna, he's not mentally ill. This shit was planned, and he's definitely a sane adult that committed murder. T, most Black people have PTSD due to racism. And Sam, I have it, and she's right. Yeah.
But T is correct. They do have PTSD. Black men have PTSD, and what you said just now, it's part of that. Okay, we know we can go in there and ravage these people. We know this, but when it comes from our sisters, it's a different game. When Black women tell us get out there and do that, we've been hearing that, but we're going to go to prison and leave all y'all back here.
I mean, okay? I agree with you. I totally agree with you.
Right.
I agree.
What we can do is we can actually arm ourselves. Because
exactly. What I'm saying is stay strapped.
I'm working on something like that right now, and I'm helping guys get in their expungement in this state so that they can arm themselves. So when they are stopped, the police know right away that they have a weapon. Okay. We grew up with weapons. We didn't think anything of it. We had them in the glove box. We had them under the pillow. My mom had one in her purse. Never thought about it. But today, nobody has a weapon because they have convinced us that we don't need to protect ourselves. We are convinced that there's nothing that we can do. And if we do have a gun, it's going to open the door. No, it won't. It'll have them thinking twice. Okay? Because if they've done the experiment, the white dude and the black dude with a weapon, white dude, they just let him go. Black dude, they had to stop him and put him on the ground and prostrate that brother. And so, hey, put me on the ground, but I am armed.
He just a cell phone, and he'll think it's a weapon. I mean,
that's the problem.
If I really have a weapon, they will think twice.
But that's the issue, is because this is first of all, LaDonna was in the military with me. If you've been around weapons, you know the difference between a goddamn sandwich and a weapon. Stop playing with me, okay? We had M16s, we had 9s, we had M40s. We know the difference between a weapon. The fact of the matter is that just gives you just cause to killed that person. And what they've done is nothing different than, whether you believe the Willie Lynch letter was actually a actual speech, or whether you thought it was an ideology. You take the biggest buck and kill him in front of the women, because what she's going to do is say, you don't do that for you to be killed. And what have we taught our sons? Make sure you don't have a hoodie on. Make sure you don't put your hands in your pocket. Make sure you look at him. Make sure you say, sir. Make sure you do these things so you don't get killed and you come home. Tell me how that's any different. In the end of the day, Elijah McCain played violin to kittens, and he's still killed. So it's bullshit.
Yeah, absolutely. The next thing I want to jump into is a panel question. I'll read a quick thing, and I will ask everyone to do a 1 minute, speak your piece, and then we'll go in to see what the people watching have to say. Hate crime rose 44% last year in a study about major cities, and the research study done by this is called the Center for Study of Hate and Extremism. The study examined hate crimes across 16 of the biggest cities in the United States, including New York, Los Angeles, Houston, Chicago, Dallas, Louisville, and Denver. And tonight we're going to be listing a number of factors that cause this type of radicalization. And we're not going to make excuses here. There's no excuses, but we are going to discuss things that can happen and need to happen and change. And I'm going to ask each panel member to make a comment. And there's about 15 or 20 of these. So try, if you can, just really stick to the topic, because we named them all. The first one is the fact that social media is out of freaking control. They're allowed to lie. There's no oversight. There's no regulation. 50% of adults get their freaking news from it. And yeah, there's a little more regulation now. There's been a slight crackdown, but what say you? Who wants to go?
Well,
1 minute. Just kidding.
In my opinion, I think it's white mothers. They raise those boys. Okay. What monsters are they raising at home? All right. Here's a woman who's married, had a father kind of dissed her off, husband dissed her off. Who's left? That boy. So here she is raising this young murderer to do the things that he does. This is not a coincidence. They keep saying, well, the father got guns. No, it's the mother that's with that boy most of the day or most of the time. And she's telling him, at least you're better than them. At least you're not one of them. If you keep doing that, you might be like them. Okay, somebody's pumping this child up and creating a monster, because he knows that he has now his daddy. You got to protect your mother. Okay, so from who? From you. Okay, from me. So that's the nature of this thing is mothers are creating these men to be and do what they are. All right, this is not a coincidence. It might be some mental issues going on, but not really. Most of the mental issues are going on with the mother. I mean, Carl Rittenberg's mother bought him his first Ku Klux Klan outfit for Halloween. She brought him his first weapon. The woman in New York City, the kid who shot all those children in school, his mother brought him those weapons. Columbine, their parents got those weapons for those kids. They had everything they needed in life. But what did they want to do? They wanted to take out the football players and them girls who was messing with them, all kind of nonsense. So it's the mother. And I think white mothers should start being more conscious on how they're raising these monsters, because that's what they are, monsters.
I'm going to jump in because your minute's up, but just to counter that as a intersectional type show we like to run, and I get your points, Tim, absolutely. I'm not downing them in any way, but the truth of the matter is a mom might be with the kids, but it is 100% both the parents who need to take responsibility. I will not go for that maternal baloney. Someone's got to support it, and someone's got, and nowadays it's not the 50s. Men have absolutely equal. I'm just saying, but I get what you're saying.
Well, abortion is coming, so it is the men. Okay, men are running those homes.
Wait, what?
It's men.
What did you say?
It's white men. Okay, they don't want nothing to do with raising children. They don't want that job.
Oh,
Okay,
that's a whole other story. I hear you. I hear you.
Go fishing and they want to go shooting, yes, but they don't want the job of raising no child.
Okay, that's all right. Willow, what do you? I got you. I hear you. What
I
say you about
too
social
many
media? That makes sense.
times- too many excuses made for kids that when they're growing, they're coddled, they're not held accountable. Social media allows them to beg off when they do something wrong. I think that, like I said before, you can find this replacement theory. It has been going on for over 100 years. This is not a new theory. It has been passed down from one generation, from one family member to another. It's generational.
Generational racism, right? Right. Anastasia, what do you say about the social media and its impact on?
I don't have anything to say. What I'm saying is, if you can blame rappers for Black children, why we not blaming Kid Rock and his bullshit ass music? You understand what I'm saying? Because the thing about it is, we're not worrying about Queen. We're not worrying about all these other, you know what I'm saying? We're not worrying about these other groups and the music that they listen to. We're not worrying about any of that, because the thing about it, it's not even about that. What it's about, I need to blame you for whatever is going on with you. And rock music, and it's a song that just, I mean, I don't think it just came out, is that no, nothing's crazier than a white boy. It's like a right-wing song or whatever the case may be. And they're proud of it. In the Black community, we are not proud of having to be a dope boy. That just started. Let's be clear about that. Nobody was proud about selling drugs because you were killing your own community. White people do not have a problem with killing their own community. And that's the problem. For us, is like, what, you don't see Black moms. I'm gonna tell you right now, you don't see Black moms saying, yeah, my kid, he be slinging dope. Where? Who? Now, maybe that was something that, like, in the contemporary, but if you were born in the 70s, raised in the 80s and the 90s, nobody was proud of that.
Right. And I'll piggyback that with my quick 1 minute, and then we'll move on to the next topic, which is kind of the same. But this is what I have to say. There's a problem with it's called white culture. Okay, it's our issue with white culture, and with regards to the social media, allowing social media to fabricate lies and create this unstable atmosphere where people end up taking facts and taking lies, adding them together, and figuring the truth is probably somewhere in between. It's a very dangerous thing, because that means that there's no such thing as facts anymore, and people don't know what to believe, and so they believe what they want to believe, and then the Dunning-Kruger effect jumps right in there, and they don't know how much they don't know, so they end up basically believing bullshit. Regulation, in my mind, is desperately needed. Almost half of Americans get the news from American adults, get the news from social media, where there are lies, fabrications, racism, and baloney. And that's all I have to say.
Can I say something about that?
Yes.
A lot of white people don't need social media to be racist.
Well, that's why we have 15 topics on the subject.
No, because that's the thing. That's a generational curse. And the other point I'm going to make about that is a rite of passage for them. The fact of the matter is, we never look at slavers or Jim Crow people or rapists. Like Tim said, they had mothers. Their mothers raised them. And the simple fact of the matter is, white women are never taken to task about the disgusting monsters that they bring up. You understand what I'm saying? The pathology that comes into play. Right. Now, let a Black mother, her son, do whatever. Oh my God, what kind of parent? especially
It's a double, triple standard. Absolutely.
I was a single parent for 12 years. When my daughter did something, it was always my fault.
Absolutely.
There was never excuse. There was never, yo, she's just cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
Oh, right. It's black people are blamed and whites are given the benefit of the doubt, and that's on over almost everything, pretty much. I hear you 100%. And I'm not saying this as an excuse, but social media is absolutely out of fucking control. Okay. They give all these conspiracy theories. The people think, yeah, that's it. I want to believe that. Okay. It's people have just critical thinking skills has ceased to exist. And I'm sorry, we got to do something about it because white folks are picking up on this insanity and going with it. It's not just social media. There's 15, 20, 30, 40 other topics that we could talk about that all add up to this, but I just picked social media for the first one. Ready for the second one?
All of that comes back to the education system being a failure in educating our children to do critical thinking,
That's
to be
our next
able
topic.
to look at something and say,
Absolutely.
okay, this doesn't even make remote sense.
Yep. Let me
And
just
then we have white culture. It's not in black culture. There, like Anna was talking about how they adult black children. And white culture is just the opposite. That it's boys be boys. I don't care if it's two 40-year-old men being held up for raping a 6-year-old child. It's boys will be boys.
Mm-hmm. Great points. Well, I'll jump over. I'm going to skip some other stuff and jump to that point because that is one of our 16 points for tonight. Before we do that, we'll talk about federal government's educational lack thereof, educational happenings in 1 second. Anna, do you want to find anybody who's commented on this that you see in the that's viewing?
Yeah, I mean, Dwayne says, "LOL, Kid Rock is normal," and that's batshit crazy. That Kid Rock is normal. Like seriously, I remember when Kid Rock came out, I was like, "Who? What? Where? Why, dude?" And the fact of the matter is that this and the thing about this country is not different than it was before. The only difference is that we are here. You understand what I'm saying? Like we are here and we see it, and it's like, yo, what the hell is going on here?
The communication technology is so superior now.
Right. Think about in the 90s, how many black people were getting shot down and nobody talked about it.
No, we didn't
in
have
the 80s.
The communication, 80s, right.
In 81, Michael Donald was lynched. You understand what I'm saying? That's the last actually regulated. And the white sheriff, you know what the white sheriff? I was hoping it was black people that did it. That's what he said.
Yeah. See, this is not new. It's not new. It's just we can, with the advances in communication and all, we're getting videos, all this stuff. We're getting everybody. The word is spread around. You can hear it in 1 second flat, and so this is nothing new.
And LaDonna said it. This reading thing is really escaping people. Like literally, people don't read.
Yep.
Like people don't read.
If you don't read, you can't get critical thinking. Critical thinking, and you're going to be a follower.
Critical thinking is fine, but we only go back to the 1600s in this country. And the majority of that time we were slaves. If we went back any further, we would be the people who created civilization as we know it. But nobody does that. Nobody cares about what the Greeks said about Africans. If it wasn't for them, we wouldn't have this civilization as we know it. They're not going to tell us that we are truly kings and queens. I don't want to get into the kings and queens piece, but they will tell us that we've come from a group of mathematicians and scientists and just brilliant human beings, that we knew that the world was round when we built the pyramid. We knew.
Tim, can I tell you something?
Yes, ma'am.
What did Malcolm X say?
You have to say it.
Only a fool would allow his children to be taught by his enemy.
Yep.
Period.
Yeah.
So we can't expect that. So you got Black parents that don't even know. This is the thing. This is the thing about it. They won't even go back to the fact that you came out of Africa. Where do you think you came from? Do you really think you popped out and you was just colorless? Come on,
Yeah.
bro. That's not even how evolution works. And that Inherit the Wind. I know everybody had to read Inherit the Wind.
Yeah.
Everybody had to read that. The fact of the matter is that
Mhm.
the issue against evolution had, for me, had nothing to do with that we came from primates, because Darwin was a racist too.
Can you
Rage,
explain
my
that further
father.
for us who didn't read it? Because I'm trying to understand your point, and
So my Inherit the Wind.
yeah, I didn't have to read that.
So Inherit the Wind talks about it. See, there you go. Reading is fundamental, babe. I'm joking with you. But it was a play that was done from a real case where it was a teacher that was teaching evolution versus creationism. So it was in a
The
small
Stove
little town, and so
trial.
on and so forth. But in
Stokes
Inherit the
trial.
Wind, right. He lost. The guy lost. The evolutionist lost. But it was more about conserving that biblical thing that we just popped up here, God put us here, or whatever the case may be, versus us, you know, evolving, which
Well,
what we did.
science versus religion has always been
Correct.
a huge.
But my whole thing about it, that also goes along with, we don't want to tell white people that you came from Black people. Matter of fact, you came from a Black woman.
Right.
Period.
Right. Yeah. Well, we don't want to tell them that, and we sure as don't want to tell them anything about our real history, and we could go on and on. Let me get to this question. The federal government is not, and I'll ask everybody, federal government is not taking definitive steps in any way, shape, or form, nor has it ever, in mandating that all schools tell our real racial history and have we never have comprehensive anti-racism education in schools. They will not allow it. Full comprehensive education in schools. And that would be life-changing. Tim, you're first. What's up?
We don't want white people feeling bad. We don't want Johnny, going home with his head down saying, Mom, we stole all this shit. Okay. Mom, we don't have the land that we live on belong to somebody else. We don't want them saying, Mom, the teacher said that Black people worked for her and her family. We don't want to tell Johnny that, because then he will feel that he hasn't contributed to the world.
Well, that's true. We don't want to, but that doesn't make people
built this country off with no pay for free. Tell Johnny, you worked this man to death. You raped him, his family, and everybody else. That's culture. That's legacy. And whites have fought for legacy every step of the way. The women of the Confederacy, and it just goes on and on and on. These people have been cruel to Black.
But realistically, that's not true. If you do teach it,
that's what they're going to tell their child. They think you're going to get revenge.
If you teach it, you're not going to, the kid doesn't, you teach the kid everything else. Why not teach them the truth about that? They don't feel guilty about Vietnam and wars and,
Oh, yeah. Why would you think that they would associate with the slavers?
The parents do, that's why.
That's exact.
The parents do. They're the guilty ones. Yeah. Kids aren't like that. They know they're innocent. They didn't do shit. The parents. Right. It's the parents. Oh, okay. Goodness. We might have lost someone. Anastasia, what say you about what do you say about the federal government in education?
Are you serious?
Yes.
Why? No, seriously.
Why won't we take responsibility?
Why a federal government that enslaved people that look like me? That's the thing. Why you're wondering why your kids come back as Romans when you send them to Caesar to be taught? Why would I have any kind of thought process that my children, and why, like, say for instance, I was on the other side of the house. Why would I teach your children who they are? Why? Why would I teach your children that they taught white people how to wash. Why would I teach your children that the fact of the matter is that because you're melanin deficient, that you're literally like a mutated gene? Why would I tell your kids that? Why would I tell your children that limp hair that you got? Like, it's really like nothing, because at the end of the day, we have to keep this up. You understand what I'm saying?
Well,
Like,
I do. But I mean, I don't think we need to tell them that kind of thing. I think, I mean, that would be like an extreme. I think just the truth of the matter.
Okay, what I'm saying, okay, so what I'm saying is that's an extreme,
Yeah,
because that's what we're taught. We were taught our skin is too dark.
right. You're not good enough. You're not good enough. Right.
Our lips are too big.
Yep.
That our skin is dirty. So the fact of the matter is, their fears are our reality. So let's turn that on its head.
Right. That's what they, okay, here, I'll say it right now. They think that maybe when there's a majority of brown and black people, that white people might actually get treated like the shit that we do to them. And that's not the case, because you see,
we don't care.
It's white culture. It's white culture that does this. They don't live in the white culture, nasty hate. Okay. And so I mean, I'm not trying to speak for you, but yes. And kids don't think like that.
We don't care. When I see, when I'm dealing with a white child, my purpose is not to break that child down.
Of course not.
That didn't even come. But I can tell you that there's white people that's willing and waiting to break my child down.
Absolutely.
To make sure they know their place.
Oh, absolutely. You know, we've talked. You know, I have two white children, and I have one beautiful brown child. And oh my God, I did not want to believe it. Raising those kids. Wow. Totally different experience with regards to school. It's incredible.
I was told a long time ago, because I was in the military too, that whites gave black people Jesus, so they have nothing to worry about. Because Jesus, they're gonna go wherever Jesus tells them, and so therefore we can kind of do what we want to do. Because I'm waiting for them to forgive the shooter. I'm waiting for that, you know, to say, "Oh,
are you talking about black people?"
Black people.
Oh, they've already done that, babe. That's already been done.
Oh, they gave us, well, Jesus.
That's already been done.
Okay, so who did Jesus look like? Right. We don't want to harm.
I didn't forgive anybody.
Yeah. So I didn't know it already happened, but
already
Jesus
happened. Not for me. Not from me. Listen, let me tell you something. First of all, if it was up to me, there were certain things that would happen. At the end of the day, you know, I had to have a conversation. We were having a conversation about that situation. I said, you know what? Are y'all serious? Like, are y'all for real? For real? This dude walked up knowing and killed all these people. And y'all are giving him forgiveness without him even asking? Are you crazy? Not me. And this is why I'm an atheist, because there's no way in hell. No way in hell. There was an 86-year-old woman that was killed. Are you crazy?
Yeah.
Nope.
Crazy.
Timmy, what branch of military were you in? Dwayne wants to know.
Army. Yeah, tell Dwayne I was in the Army.
You tell him. Yeah.
Dwayne, Army. Yeah, I did crazy 16 years. Don't ask me the rest. That's.
I did 24, so I know what you. Well, no, let me stop, because you want to tell people how old you are, Tim?
Oh boy, I'm 60.
So I was not in the military when you were doing big.
No. Yeah, it was interesting.
So I know you went through. If I went through some hell in the military, I know you went through some hell. And this is the thing. Like somebody put, I'm not forgiving shit. I'm not Jesus.
No.
Don't act, bruh. Let me tell you something. Go on, get away from me. Go on.
Coffee, 8 years for me. Wow. Yeah. It's incredible. Well, yeah, I think for me, the bottom line is we have a white problem in America, in this country, a white person problem, and it's our white culture. Okay. And you might think, white, what, huh? Culture. Yeah, it's true. And we don't like to think about that. But you see, we need to think about that because it's a flawed culture. Okay. We talk about liberty and justice for all. We talk about, creating a more perfect union. Who are we really talking about that for? We're not talking about everybody. Okay. And that is abhorrent. And that is just
who wrote that, and what were they doing when they wrote that? Were they molesting and raping teenage girls when they wrote that?
Well, here's the problem. The people who wrote that, and I will stand by that saying it's a very valiant, wonderful thing to do. But the problem is the people who wrote it could not live by it. Okay. They could not live by their own ideologies. Okay. They couldn't, and they knew it. And I don't know, only they and God and whoever knows how they felt about it. But when we look back, it's, and we're still not living by it. White people, we are still, I'm not talking about saviors. I'm not talking about like, yay, look at me. I'm this great hero. Because Black and brown people are going to have their equity and their justice without us. They do not, it is way over, too late. But for the love of God, why would we sit here and watch this travesty of our country, our nation, of our own morality, of our culture, and be like, yeah, it's cool, or yeah, there's nothing I can do, or oh, I'm too busy. What the hell? It's appalling, and that's why I do what I do, is because I will not. So,
can I say this, Kim? This is the thing. Equity always looks like oppression when you're the oppressor.
Absolutely.
And at the end of the day, what I'm not going to do is sit here and bash white women because they're trash.
Well, white women have been the instigators of almost
correct.
Yeah.
But let's not pretend that those murders are aberrations.
Correct.
Let's not pretend
they're not one-offs. They're not, oh, wow.
No. And let's think about it this way. If they were Muslim, if this dude was Muslim,
he'd be dead.
Will we not be banning Muslims?
He'd be dead. And we are banning Muslims. We already are. So
right. And what I'm saying is, at the end of the day, when are we banning white men? When are we doing that?
And the women who marry the racist white men. What do you
think? White men don't look at white women like they're people either. Okay. I mean, they're talking about how white women went to the Supreme Court Justice House and it looked like they were having a picnic. They don't take them seriously. They've never taken white women seriously because white women don't behave seriously. And when they do, who's going to follow them? Black women don't want to have nothing to do with following that nonsense. Nobody wants to wear a pussy hat and then have a picnic. Okay? We want to go there and tell them this is the real deal. We're constantly waiting for them to take the ideas that we have and make it their own. Now it's Me Too, you know? So,
and who created Me Too?
Oh, what? Say again?
Who created Me Too?
Black people created Me Too. Black women created that, but white women took that over the next day. They fine with the Gucci boots and took that. Now it's Me Too. But so what I'm saying is if they took white women seriously, they wouldn't be talking about things like abortion. It wouldn't happen. But they're talking about it because they know these women are going to move to the side so they can wallow in all the stuff that white men bring them. Okay? And so they're down with it. And they're pretending that, oh my God, they're not saying anything. These are our children. These are our grandparents. White women ain't saying nothing. Okay? They haven't said a word. And it's like this all the time. When our babies get shot and murdered by police officers, what do they say? What did they do? Did they listen to that cop? Did they misbehave? We're not children.
Before the video starts, what did they do? It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But you know, Black people do that too. I'm going to tell you. Because we're indoctrinated as well.
Absolutely.
When Amadou Diallo was killed, you know who I'm talking about, Tim, don't you? And I know Angry
41,
Soccer Mom know who I'm talking about. Amadou
41.
Diallo,
41.
right?
Mm.
When Amadou Diallo was killed, I remember that the first thing I said, what did he do? He didn't do anything.
The
He
indoctrination
literally,
is real. The
and
indoctrination.
then and when I started to break, but I wanted to go to what Dwayne said. When Dwayne said, he said it's a global war. The fact of the matter is white supremacy is a global virus. You know what I'm saying?
It's not
And
just
when we're talking about the art of war, first of all, a lot of people don't even, military people, we read the art of war. And the art of war, you know, a lot of Black people do not move in silence. You understand what I'm saying? We broadcast, we tell people we about to do this. We also don't study our enemy. You understand what I'm saying? And Tim probably knows that what I'm talking about right now. Like when you're trying to do something, you fight on your own terms. You fight on your own terms. And we're not doing that. The fact of the matter is that grown ass 18-year-old man went to that soft target because he knew that nobody was going to fight back.
Yeah. And you know what? I have to start wrapping us up tonight, although I have about 25 other points. So I'm thinking maybe not this Wednesday, but the next one we can take this up again, because this is really, really important, because we haven't been able to, there are so many things going on in our society that could easily be changed, easily. But you see, we in the aggregate as white supremacists don't want to. Because you see, the thing that we're talking about, the matches what we're talking about with the founding fathers and what's going right now. Nothing has changed, okay? It's just shifted, become a little more covert. The founding fathers and the people in Congress right now were millionaires, were the wealthiest elites, okay? And they still are. And they love the idea of blame, both sides, blaming Black people and brown people for everything, because then they don't have to worry about us ever uniting, and white folks going, you know, I kind of share a common plate with them. I'm killing myself to make ends meet just like they are. But I have to blame them. Wait a second, maybe I don't blame them. Maybe I blame the wealthiest elites. Well, we can't have that. Oh no. And so they want to keep us divided, and we're fools and we fall for it. Generation after generation. And that's why we are kept, white people, in this sick white culture of white supremacy. It's all so that we never realize who the real enemy is. Okay? And those are the people hoarding all the money and making laws that help them get more money, not the everyday person. Okay? It's capitalism on steroids, and they need to keep up the divisiveness. Both sides. They're cures to every single thing we have going on here. Every last one. We don't have to have racism, systemic racism in every area of life here. No, it is a choice. And that's why they're so damn scared, because when it turns brown and people are going to say, we don't want this, and that's going to be it. So,
can I say this?
Absolutely.
If you was to get rid of every white person right now, you still have white supremacy.
Well, we're psychologically messed up.
I'm just being honest with you, because in India, who's the majority? Indians. In Africa, who's the majority? Africans. But Africans are bleaching their skin. Africans are hating on other Africans. Africans are hating on African Americans. You go to the Caribbean, who are Caribbeans hating on? Other Caribbeans, other African Americans. They're bleaching their skin.
We've been indoctrinated to that, though. They didn't before, when enslaved people were not Black people, were not brown people. They were any people. And long, long ago, we invented this whole white thing and Black thing so that we could enslave them.
Right. White is privilege. So if you're walking around lighter skin, that means you have some privilege. The Italians did it when they got here from the Mediterranean. They look like Black people with afro. When they whitened up, they became white. Okay. If you ask somebody whose family got here by the boat, and just ask them this question: when did you become white? They
We
don't
already
know.
know when they became white. The same time that those Ukrainians are going to become white.
Well, Ukrainians, if you've been over in Europe, and the Ukrainians, they don't even have a real economy. They're kind of interesting. They don't know what they're dealing with.
But
Okay.
you understand what I'm saying? What I'm saying is the Italians were not white when they came over here.
No,
The
they were
Irish were
dark.
not white. The Scottish were not white. That is an invention. So at
But
the
they
end of the day,
right.
non-white people that are passing white people will hate on people that can't pass.
Right, because that's what we've been taught. That's what we've been taught. It's but
And the Africans and the Jamaicans, they're just confused. They were told if you come to America, you don't want to be like a slave. The Africans have a name for that. Okay? They're not slaves. They are free men and free women. They don't come with that posture. We are tense. These people are walking, with their hands ungripped. Our hands are constantly gripped. That PTSD got us.
No,
But when
I hear it. It's a whole different
PhDs, they're coming here for a better life, and they know, and they will maneuver through this shit and talk all kind of stuff about the Black American, and they will go far in this country.
But the thing about it is, Tim, all I'm gonna say to you is that they wouldn't have what they have if it wasn't for us. If it wasn't for the Ida B. Wells and the Fannie Lou Hamers and the Denmark Bessies and the Nat Turners, all them people that's freeing themselves. But this is the thing. What I'm gonna tell you about, they're finding out what they did up there with the border with them Haitians.
Yes.
Oh, you thought you was better than us. See what they did?
And the fellow was shot in the head just a couple months back.
See what they did? See them Somalians? Yes. That whole entire Somalian family was killed. And it wasn't by a white man. It was about 3 Asian guys that did that. Yeah. These Asians that are getting shot by these cops. These Hispanics that's getting shot by these cops. And then they're like, why are Black people not showing up? Nah, bro. I'm going to show you the same energy you showed me.
But can I just jump in as kind of a last, and obviously you can make, bottom line is, I will never blame non-white people because we did the indoctrination. We started this. We invented
Don't worry about it. I'll do it.
Yeah. Well, I won't, but you're welcome to do it. But I just won't because I know it's like indoctrinating. So we indoctrinated them too, Yeah,
but that's not good enough for me. You know why that's not good enough for me? Because at the end of the day, you can see it and you can see the people that are going to be there for you. But what you're choosing, who do we blame? The rapist or the one person that watched the rapist?
No, I absolutely get what you're saying.
So I don't even listen. I don't do that with them. Like I'm taking you to task just like everybody else.
Just as a white person, I can't.
Right. Roger that. I'll do it. Don't worry about it.
You do it. Yeah. It wouldn't be right because Timmy?
Well, what I tell my Africans and my Jamaicans, and I let them know that African Americans are the spearhead of African revolution. All the things that created change in the world started here in the United States with us. Okay, Mandela might have used Gandhi's tactics and King used Gandhi's tactics, but the tactics he used was King's. Okay, and he followed those and he went to prison for that. But it was done here first, and it's the model for the world when it comes to peace. There was not a time when we went into white neighborhoods and ambushed anyone. There was never a time in our history have we done this.
And there never will be because it's the white problem. We have a white person problem. Yeah. You guys, thank you so much. I'm sorry we couldn't finish. I love you both.
Oh, we finished. Trust me, I said everything that I was going to say tonight.
Good.
I blame white women. I blame white men. I blame Black men. I blame Black women. And I blame the others. because at the end of the day, you see what's going on. You see it. You just don't think it's going to happen to you. Tim, like I told you, I used to be the vice president and a security for Black Lives Matter Mississippi. And every time it happens, you know what those families say? I never thought it would happen to me. And my question is, why?
Why not? Yeah. Why not you?
Right. Oh, and there's a lot of answers to that, but it's psychological. It's horrible. But thank you so much for this tonight. You guys are wonderful. Tim, thank you so much for being here. And Anna, of course, as always. I'm so lucky to have you. And we got to get Tim back on again. And thanks to Miss Willow. I'm sorry she got a bad headache, migraines, but she is wonderful. So
bye, sexy grandpa.
All right.
Timmy, watch out.
Beautiful too, lady. Okay. Come on now. Let your earring go and get out of here.
Thank you so much. You made his day. She made your day.
Yes,
And you're so cute. Thank you, T. Thanks for being here, LaDonna and Dwayne. I'm thrilled to have you. Who else? I don't know if everyone's still around because I've been yapping away. Willow is here. Who else do we have? Oh my gosh. Fantastic. Ashanti, Coffee, probably. I just thank you so much for being here. You guys make the show. And don't be a stranger. At the very top of this is how you can get a hold of me if you want to privately chat with me, want to come on the show, want to tell me off. Oh, don't do that. Or just anything, okay? And it means a lot. Talking about this stuff is extremely important. So thanks for being here, everybody. Good night.